Watch. Nancy Pelosi pulls out her cell phone. Reporters can't believe what she reads. Representative Nancy Pelosi attempted to give reporters a history lesson at her press conference on Tuesday, but there was something very wrong with her version of the events after she pulled out her cell phone to read reports on account of what happened to our founding fathers. No one in the room could believe what they were hearing. Pelosi's most recent embarrassing blunder occurred during an event Democratic lawmakers held to discuss the Democrats for Democracy reform legislative package and #We the People campaign, a task force, quote, they have created, which is purportedly aimed at reforming government to ensure it works for all Americans. Apparently, the Democrats do not recognize the irony in the fact that they have appointed themselves to ensure the government is working for all people, but I digress. In her quest to educate the public about the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence, Pelosi read an essay which was widely circulated online over the 4th of July holiday. The only problem was that the piece of writing contained more than a few factual errors. According to young conservatives, the essay that often appears around the Independence Day holiday sent to email inboxes all across the nation is filled with errors and fanciful exclamations. Some of the names of the signers of the Declaration are even misspelled, and many of the stories about their fates are either outright lies or gross mischaracterizations, or they are completely misidentified. Simply put, it's just bad history. The discredited piece titled "The Price They Paid" was a popular essay circulating around the internet on Independence Day. The article outlines the fates of those who signed the Declaration of Independence, but according to the fact checkers at Snopes, Snopes, let's dump them in the trash. Many of its details are inaccurate. Source: Washington Free Beacon. For those who are unaware, the fact checkers at Snopes, the ridiculousness of Snopes, oh please, I can't. This is like disgraceful. They're talking about Snopes? Weirdos? In charge?
Working with Mr. Conyers, but also Mr. Clyburn, our assistant leader, John Lewis, Terry Sewell of Alabama on issues that relate to voting rights and voter suppression and the rest. So this is the point of the spear of how we go forward with this, and many of our colleagues that I mentioned are part of this operation. I just want to read this one thing because it's July. We came back from the 4th of July celebration, and I saw this article and it said, have you ever wondered, now our founders, they sacrificed their lives, their liberty, their sacred honor to establish this democracy. It was quite a remarkable thing. But did you ever wonder what happened to the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence? 5 signers were captured by the British as traitors and tortured before they died. 12 had their homes ransacked and burned. 2 lost their sons serving the Revolutionary War. Another had 2 sons captured. 9 of the 56 fought and died from wounds or hardships of the Revolutionary War. They signed and they pledged their lives, their fortune, and their sacred honor. What kind of men were there? 24 were lawyers and jurors, 11 were merchants, 9 were farmers and large plantation owners, men of means, well-educated, but they signed the Declaration of Independence knowing full well that the penalty would be death if they were captured. Carter Braxton of Virginia, a wealthy planter and trader, saw his ship swept from the sea by the British Navy. He sold his home and properties to pay his debts. He died in rags. Thomas McKean was so hounded by the British that he was forced to move his family almost constantly without pay, and his family was kept in hiding. His possessions were taken from him, and poverty was his rewards. Vandals or soldiers looted the properties of Dillery, Hall, Clymer, Walton, Gwinnett, Hayward, Rutledge, Middleton, other signers. At the Battle of Yorktown, Thomas Nelson noted that the British General Cornwallis had taken over the Nelson home for his headquarters and quietly urged George Washington to open fire. The home was destroyed. Francis Lewis lost his home and property. John Hart was driven from his wife's bedside and she was dying. Their 13 children fled for their lives. His fields were gristmill and laid to waste, and for more than a year he lived in forest and caves, returning home to find his wife dead and his children vanished. So take a few minutes while enjoying the 4th of July, this says, but as we ponder the sacrifices that so many people made at the start of our country, what Abraham Lincoln did to keep our country together, what the suffragettes did to expand the right to vote, what the civil rights leaders have done to expand that right to vote, and understand what our responsibility is to protect what so many people sacrificed so much to achieve for our country.
Yeah, well, actually, I give her a little credit there because she did read, you know, she was coherent. Understand what our responsibility is to protect what so many people sacrificed so much to achieve for our country, Pelosi said after she finished reading, calling on the audience to ponder the sacrifices so many people made at the start of our country. Unfortunately for the left, this isn't the first time Nancy Pelosi has fallen for alternative facts, and it won't be the last, since it seems to be an increasing trend with the elderly congresswoman who often can't even make it through a press conference without unintelligibly slurring her words. Sadly, Democrats have never been accused of being particularly bothered by facts, so it's not entirely surprising that Pelosi chose an essay laden with errors to drive her point home. However, you would think that with the teams of people she employs, she could at least keep a few staffers nearby to alert her of these things before she sticks her foot in her mouth. Yeah, well, that's Nancy for you. She's a nut. But actually, look, she has to retire now. She's just, you know, she's on her last leg. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.